Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. What I'd like to do in this series of videos is go ahead and go back and show the process in which we purchased an Akiya in the countryside of Japan. I think there's a misunderstanding with the term Akiya. Akiya basically just means that it's vacant, it's not necessarily abandoned. In the case of our house, the house had been vacant for about 5 years. The grounds around the house were quite neglected. There were weeds and kuzu, those vines growing everywhere, taking over the trees, the light poles, and almost the house. But the house itself, we believe it was structurally sound. We paid 5 million yen, or around $36,000 for the rate at that time. Again, this was in July of 2022. The total property consists of the main house, which is around 1,600 square feet, a two-car garage, a little guest house, another outhouse, and about half an acre of land. It is very common to find an Akiya or vacant house in Japan with all the property in their house, and this was the case for us. Originally, it was listed for 6 million yen. However, the real estate agent offered to reduce it a million if we took out the property ourselves, which we did. As you can see here throughout the video, it's a typical older house built in 1975 in the countryside of Yamaguchi Prefecture near Iwakuni. And again, it's a typical house that needed a lot of work. However, once we expose the beams, which you will see in future videos, you can see that the house has beautiful beams and a lot of character behind these walls and the ceiling. We found an awesome local carpenter here in town, and he specializes on, let's say, like a healthy living. So basically, he uses all natural materials. He does not use any wallpaper or anything plastic or synthetic. Instead, he finishes all the walls with shikui, which is a traditional Japanese method of plaster. And additionally, all the wood throughout the house, to include the floor, is cedar from Kyushu, and it is unfinished. So as soon as you walk in the house, you can smell the cedar throughout the house. It's really, really nice. All the rooms were typical small Japanese style rooms. Some of them had tatami rooms, some of them were hardwood. Basically, it was an older house that was built in 1975 and had not been updated ever since. At least there was no indication of it. So, in a way, it was good. That way, it was not a waste of money if we tore down something that was still relatively new. And as I mentioned, the grounds around the house were just absolutely horrendous. Now I look back and I have no idea how my wife agreed to do such a thing, because as I look through these videos and I recall all the work that we have done thus far, it was a lot of work trying to get this place under control. As you can see, the vines, the kuzu have just taken over trees, light poles. Someone must have been keeping it from getting on the house, because it was just a matter of, a couple of feet making it to the house, because as you can see right here, they're all over the trees. So we spent hours and hours and hours, and actually we paid a crew to do the back side of the house, because it was just way too much for us to handle ourselves. But eventually it got done, and now 2 years later, it looks quite nice. So as I mentioned, we closed on the house in July, which, in the middle of the summer, and we were trying to get the renovation started as soon as possible. So Kayak-san, our carpenter, said that he could start the renovation in October, November timeframe. So we had to hustle to get all the property out of the house and get it cleared out for him. Yeah, my wife and I spent many weekends out there in the heat, in the middle of the horrible humidity of Japan, clearing everything out little by little. And I actually bought a little Japanese K-truck to help me get rid of everything. I had to go to multiple recycle centers throughout town because here in Japan you cannot take everything to one central place like many places in the United States or other countries. Yeah, so just little by little, one truckload at a time, we took it all to the different areas throughout town. Tried to give some stuff away, sold some stuff, donated some other stuff. We kept very few items. We actually found a really nice koto, the musical instrument, and my wife has been taking lessons ever since, and she's actually doing quite well. But as you can see right here, we finally got most of the stuff cleared out and the house looks actually really beautiful. And I was actually starting to have second thoughts about doing a renovation, but we did it anyways, and we are quite happy, and hopefully you enjoy the renovation process in upcoming videos. Once we finished clearing out the house, we focused our attention on the garden, especially on the Japanese garden. As you can see right here, once we removed all the bushes and the weeds, it exposed a beautiful Japanese garden that had been neglected for many years. As of now, of April 2025, I actually have it functioning with a waterfall and working on the Shishiodoshi. If you're interested in how this took place, please check out my other videos. And then we started working around the other area next to our little guest house and the front yard of the house. It was around fall when we finished clearing everything out, and it exposed this beautiful bright red maple tree by the Japanese garden. Then we just continued working our way around the guest house and other areas, such as down by the garage. Down there, there's a bunch of weeds that had just been growing forever and ever. Uh, we just dumping stuff over the big retaining wall and burn it little by little. Hopefully, we didn't anger our neighbors because it was just so much to deal with. And then the property also came with a whole bunch of trees such as cherry, kiwi, persimmons, chestnuts, and other trees, but they have not been pruned in many years, so we had to take care of that. Up on the top side of the property, there are four chestnut trees, and this area is very famous for chestnuts. Got this area cleared out. As you can see, all the kuzu vines growing all over the place. I'm surprised I did not get bit by a snake. This took about a good month of pulling everything out by the roots, but otherwise you just can't stop it because it would just keep coming back. Yeah, but little by little, every single day, we made a little bit of improvement and looking a whole lot better. The highlight of the day was to sit by the Japanese garden and eat my lunch and admire the work that we have done thus far. The backyard was just as bad, and one thing that we did not realize because it was covered by all the vines, that there was an old house there before and all the remnants were still there. So we had to spend a lot of time cleaning that out. The fun part was planning out how we wanted the house. Since we are empty nesters, we wanted the house to be kind of an open concept, practical, and pretty much everything that we have always wanted in the house. We removed as many walls as possible. In this area, we built a walk-in large pantry, which extended into the carport. Towards the living room, we tore down these walls as well and incorporated a really nice fireplace. This area became the dining room with the fireplace to the right, where there was a old small closet right there in the corner. Unfortunately, we had to sacrifice some of the original wood from the house, such as this nice long beam from the soji door. I think originally this area used to be a bedroom as well, or at least when we bought the house, there used to be a bed in this area. Next to this room is where the original living room and the current living room is at. We tore down these walls and exposed the ceiling, which revealed some really nice woodwork. We kept the theme of exposing the beams and all the woodwork throughout the house as much as possible. And behind these walls is where the staircase is at. We turned the staircase into like a coat hanging area, a cute little bench for our granddaughters to sit, Also, some drawers with some integrated charging station for all of our electronics. As I mentioned before, we are empty nesters and we wanted to maximize the entire house. So the upstairs used to be 2 bedrooms with 2 closets and a hallway. This became my wife's craft room. And right here in this closet area, we put in a really nice modern Japanese style toilet. These walls here were also torn down, and we also exposed the ceiling, which revealed some really nice beams. This entire area was opened up very nicely, and as you can see, the really nice afternoon sun comes in and makes it ideal for a craft room. In order to just clean the house out and get it ready for the renovation, we moved everything down to the garage. Then from there, I took everything little by little to the various recycle centers throughout town. This was quite a task because at least in this area, you have to take the combustible items to one place, the metals to another place, and the other bulky items to a different place. So I spent a lot of time going to different places. All in all, to get rid of all this stuff actually only costs about, I think it's around 500 some US dollars. And actually, I made a mistake because all the metal, I could have just taken it to a place to sell the metal, but I did not. I just took it to a place where they had a big dumpster and threw it in there. Plus, I did not know that I could take it to a place where they would buy the metal from me. I could have made at least a couple $100 doing this. This carport area, since we made it smaller due to the extended pantry, I'm going to turn it into my barbecue and my outside kitchen area. This is our little guest house, which we also renovated as part of this project, and it turned into a really nice place for guests and families to stay at. After a lot of hard work, we cleaned out the Japanese garden really nicely, and I have some interesting plans coming up this summer to include a waterfall and a shishiodoshi. So if you're interested, please check out some of the videos that I have been posting thus far. This little structure right here is going to be what I call my man cave slash little tinkering area, and maybe even a YouTube studio and a little place to hang out when we finally get around to building our fire pit, which will be between this building, the little guest house, and right next to the rose garden that we have built last summer. Another Western influence that we incorporated in the house is the laundry room right in this area. And actually, we kind of missed the mark by not adding a sunroom right next to it, which is something we're doing in the next couple months. One thing I really underestimated was the amount of time that it would take to take care of the yard. During the summer, it can easily take me 8 to 10 hours a week just to keep it from getting out of control. So if you are looking at a property like this, please keep that in mind when you are getting ready to do your purchase. So what I have been doing last year and this year is paid a local crew to level everything out and make it much easier for me to maintain, especially as I get older. Now it looks much nicer and it's much easier for me to maintain, and I can use a self-propelled lawnmower which I had shipped from the United States, and I'm looking forward to getting a riding lawnmower so I can take care of everything in a matter of hours. Yeah, just look at this backyard. just I look back and I see all this kuzu climbing up the trees and everything, and quite frankly I kind of wonder what the heck was I thinking when I bought this place. But right now it looks so much nicer. It's just I don't know, it's just very rewarding to see the work that we have done thus far. And so I hope you enjoy this, and please stay tuned so you can follow the other progress that we have made throughout the house and the renovation, which turned out quite nicely. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.